They said it went well, but you did not fully believe them. You heard the feedback. You saw the reaction. Objectively, there was nothing wrong. But internally, something did not settle. Maybe you know this feeling. You prepare properly. You show up. You do what you are supposed to do. And while it is happening, you are there. Focused. Present. Doing your best to stay with it. But afterwards, your mind changes the story. There is someone, let's call her Maya. Before her presentation, she is slightly tense. Not panicked. Just mentally alert. Running through everything in her head. Do not forget that point. Make sure that part is clear. Slow down. Say it properly. Then she delivers it. And it goes well. People are engaged. They respond. They nod. There is positive feedback afterwards. And for a brief moment, there is relief. Maybe even a small feeling of, that went all right. But later, when everything is quieter, her mind returns to it. Not to the whole thing. Not to the parts that landed. Not to the fact that it was genuinely good. Just to that one moment. The slight hesitation. The sentence that did not land perfectly. The answer that could have been stronger. And it starts to grow. That part was not great. I should have explained that better. They probably noticed that. Maybe it was not actually as good as they said. And without realizing it, that small moment becomes the whole story. That is what this pattern does. It takes one imperfect detail and lets it overwrite the wider reality. You might notice this in your own life. You send a message and reread it afterwards. You have a conversation and replay what you said on the way home. You finish something, and instead of feeling done, you keep adjusting it in your mind. You receive praise, and almost immediately start explaining why it was not that impressive. You do something well, and your attention moves straight to what could have been better. And over time, this creates a very specific feeling. Like nothing ever fully counts. Like you are always slightly off. Like you are close, but never quite there. Even when you are doing well. That is what makes this so draining. Because from the outside, people may see someone capable, someone progressing, someone doing well. But inside, you do not get to feel the full weight of your own effort. It never lands properly. It gets interrupted, corrected, questioned, minimized, and eventually, your mind begins to treat self-doubt like accuracy, as though the critical version must be the honest version. But what is actually happening is simpler than it feels. You are not lacking ability. You are filtering your experience. You are selecting the part that was not perfect and using it to define everything else. You are letting the hesitation outweigh the clarity. The imperfect sentence outweigh the whole conversation. The one awkward moment outweigh the genuine progress. And when that becomes your default, confidence does not build. Because nothing ever feels complete enough to trust. Nothing feels solid enough to rest in. Nothing gets to stay whole. That is why you can be doing well and still feel unsure. Because the part of you that tracks flaws has become louder than the part of you that registers what worked. And often there is history underneath that. Maybe you learned early that being good was expected. So your mind stopped noticing what was good and started searching for what was missing. Maybe praise never fully landed. Maybe mistakes were noticed more quickly than progress. Maybe you became someone who improved by being hard on yourself. And now your mind does not know how to stop. That would explain a lot. Why you keep moving the standard. Why praise feels slippery. Why achievement feels strangely temporary. Why nothing seems to stay long enough to reassure you. So the shift is not really about doing more. It is about noticing differently. The next time something goes well, pause before your mind moves on. Before it reaches for the floor. Before it starts rewriting the moment. And ask yourself, what actually worked here? Not quickly. Not as a polite exercise. Fully. What actually worked? What landed? What did I do well? What is true about this moment? If I do not reduce it to the one imperfect part. Because until you let that register, your mind will keep telling the same story. That you are slightly off. That you are not quite there. That you are not as capable as other people think. Even when none of that is true. You are not doing worse than you think. You are just not letting the full picture stay. And once the full picture starts to stay, confidence stops feeling fake. It starts to feel earned, real, grounded. because it is no longer built on perfection. It is built on accuracy. And that is a very different kind of confidence.